I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, the creepy, and the strange.
And I drink.
So what are we drinking tonight, Mitchell?
Our beer this week is Alma Mater American-style lager, proudly brewed and packaged by Straight to Ale in Huntsville, Alabama. 5.5% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. And this is a rare Straight to Ale can. They have something on it.
Huzzah.
Because it's a special thing.
Yeah.
So here we go. Straight to Ale is excited to launch an innovative collaboration with Alabama A&M University to create a new pale lager. This initiative merges the brewing craftsmanship of Straight to Ale with the academic prowess of Alabama A&M's food science and MBA programs. End quote. So yeah, if y'all don't know anything about Alabama A&M, it's like all other A&M colleges. It's an agricultural university, and it's actually really well regarded in the state. So that makes sense. You know, they've combined to make something that tastes good. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
They also have a lot of social workers that come out of there, because that's where most of the people that I work with went to school. But, you know,
very
there
true.
You go.
Very true.
It's a good college.
About the beer, it's pale, crisp, refreshing, slightly citrusy. I really enjoy it. It's very nice. I drank it, with some pizza last night, which we have leftovers of that I will be eating very shortly after the conclusion of the recording of this. And it's really nice. Leah, have you tried it yet?
I have not.
Oh, here. I wanted to sip first. Now you can have it. So I gave it a 9 out of 10. I just really enjoy it. I think that it's very refreshing.
Oh, that's very drinkable.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It doesn't have like a ton of flavor, but like I kind of like that in a beer. Like there's like a hoppiness on the back end, but for the most part, it's just really clean and refreshing. Really nice.
Absolutely. Like and I will be having the rest of this with some pizza.
And it also looks like a stereotypical, like the color and the way the head develops on it in that mug. It looks like a very stereotypical, like beer emoji beer.
Correct. It does.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, our shot in the dark for the week. Tall Patch Yella Whiskey, bottled by YH Spirits in Calera, Alabama. 40% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. And here we go. I want to say, first of all, the people who wrote the stuff for the bottle use commas very strangely, and I'm not going to tell you where they are because who gives a shit? I'm going to be talking. You don't say a comma. But if you pick it up and read it, you're like, what the fuck is that doing there? Why is that?
To be fair, they are from Calera. I spent a lot of time in Calera because it's right next to where I went to college at, and I'm just saying,
all right, here we go.
To me.
Here we go. Our grain-forward spirit is a properly barrel-aged, there's a comma here, and easily approachable sippin' whiskey with subtle vanilla complexity. Handcrafted, another comma, from patches of tall corn, another comma, in the state's moonshiningest Prohibition-era county. Start a new Southern tradition with this barrel-aged, smooth-finishing Yella whiskey. I said I wasn't going to tell you where the commas were, but then I did.
You did.
Because what? It's so weird. The sentence stops flowing. Anyway.
I'm really bad about using excessive commas, so when I go back to edit what I've written already, I have to take out like a fuck ton of commas because I'm comma happy. I don't know what it is, but I really am.
And I'll tell you my biggest pet peeve when I see written word. I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Let me finish this. The whiskey, harsh at first, but balanced out with a lot of flavor on the back end. It's almost smoky, which is normal out of a wood barrel-aged whiskey, usually. You can tell that a lot of care went into the making of it. It's just not one of my favorites. I gave it a 7 out of 10 on ice. It's fine. Very good. Very drinkable. Not very good, excuse me. 9 out of 10 with ginger ale, because what isn't? So an 8 out of 10 overall. And the alcohols are done. And before we get into anything else, Leah, I would just like to say something, because I feel like the world needs to hear this.
Yeah, everybody needs to know what your personal pet peeves are about,
They do, because I bet you anything all of these people are making this mistake. Okay? All right, so if you start a sentence with but or and, with the word but or and or, unless you have an interjection there, do not put a comma there. You don't say but, comma, and then go into your point. You can say but, comma, and then you have a little interjection like in the spirit of this and that, and then comma, continue. But you don't start a sentence with the word but and put a comma after the word but. if that's the only thing that you're doing.
And unless you're a really good writer, maybe just don't use the word but as at the beginning of a sentence.
You shouldn't be starting a sentence with those anyway.
I mean, you can.
But you can.
It is a thing, but, sometimes it's not great.
Right there, that's a perfect example. But, comma, comma, that's fine. But not but, comma, you can do that. That's not a proper fucking sentence. Do not interject commas where they're not supposed to be.
I think you meant insert.
Do not insert commas like into butts where they're not supposed to be.
All right, well, Grammar Corner with Mitch.
Yeah. Well, it's just but's the one that you see, but any of those conjunctions, don't use them. Don't start a sentence with them and then put a comma right after the word. But the word but is the one that you see all the time. Mm-hmm. That's all that I'm saying.
I'm comma happy once again. I can't judge anybody for their excessive uses and improper uses of commas because I'll stick those buggers in everywhere.
Well, I'll tell you where your commas are fucking up. How about that?
Well, I mean, it's just the way my brain works because it's very like
your brain is pausing,
and so it makes sense for me.
I understand that that's how most people do that, and they say, "Well, my brain is pausing, so the sentence is pausing." That is not what is happening. That is not proper grammar. Cut it the fuck out.
Well, I'm not good at grammar, so I apologize. And
that's why I'm here.
We'll try to do better in the long run,
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And also, before we get into other stuff, I want to let everyone know that the other night I was burning a candle. And this isn't a strange occurrence. Sometimes we burn candles.
Yes.
But for some reason, Steve was enamored by the candle and went over to it and was smelling it and all that. And I went, Steve, go away, go away. And he turned around and looked at me, and I went, Steve, get down. And he jumped down off the table, and some smoke followed him. And I went, I think the cat just lit himself on fire. And we got to pick him up and feel him, and the hair around his butthole and his tail is singed. Yeah. The cat lit himself on fire with a candle. Like it was nothing.
He wasn't happy about it, and the whole room smelled like fucking burnt cat hair, which is not great, but he's fine. Well, it was just like...
No, nothing bothered him.
No.
He's sitting here on the YouTube video.
Just lit his ass on fire, Steve, and he was just like, yeah, whatever.
Steve, did you light your butthole on fire, buddy?
You did, bud. You did light your butthole on fire.
He's an idiot. So anyway, those are the only things I wanted to bring up there. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, just remembering the smell makes me uncomfortable. Because I don't generally smell much of anything. You've heard me say that before, but that was just an overpowering stench for me. Speaking
of, the only reason the candle was burning was because I was incredibly gassy at the time. And then it got over to, I was like, thank God it smells like burnt cat butthole in here. And now everything's better.
We have these odor eliminating candles that my grandmother swears by. She buys them by the caseload, and they really work. And you can't burn them with another scented candle because it will literally take the scent out of that candle. It's very weird. But you burn them, and it takes she uses a lot when she's cooking cabbage or anything like fish, something that's smelly. And if you light them, your room won't smell like that after you're done cooking. We use them for bathrooms and farts. Especially gassy nights.
Mostly farts.
Yeah. They work fantastically. Just don't let your cat light its butthole on fire.
Or do.
Not great.
It was interesting.
Poor buddy.
He's fine.
He's fine.
I think he just had an especially cold butt.
He was just trying to warm it up and got a little too close.
He's like you. It has the cold butt cheeks.
Yeah.
And he went to sit on the candle and goes, well, that wasn't a good idea.
No. But maybe now he knows we don't fuck with fire. Right, bud?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have gone to the post office box for the first time in a while, and I'm very excited to report that we have a Christmas postcard.
Listener mail.
It is very adorable. And it's from Finland. It's from Taru, and holy shit, I don't understand how she finds postcards that are this stinking cute.
Yeah, that's
But look at that. It's little glittery polar bears kind of snuggling next to each other.
It's cute.
And it's adorable. Anyway, let's see. It says, and it has Merry Christmas and Happy New Year written out in Finnish, which she has thankfully translated for us because,
Dumb Americans, right?
Yeah, exactly. It says, Happy Holidays and Seasons Greetings. Thank you, Leah and Mitch, for another year of Southern spirits. All the best from Taru. Thank you so much, Taru. I'm putting this in my special collection of Finnish postcards because they're absolutely precious.
Because you've sent a few.
You have sent a few, and I just freaking love them all. sorry. I like receiving mail of any sorts, but mail from overseas just makes me especially like excited because no one ever sends like fun mail anymore. It's all like
an effort.
Sure. But I mean, like it's all like bills and like circulars and flyers and shit, and mostly junk mail. No one ever like sends anything important in the mail anymore. But like postcards and I don't know. I like mail. Anyway, it's like a holdover from like the Blue's Clues era for me, because every time I go to the mailbox and I know that there's going to be something in it, it just makes me want to sing the mail song. You know?
Yeah. Please don't.
I won't, but it makes me want to.
Okay.
Wag my tail. And when it comes, I want to wail. Mail.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
Moving on.
Had to. All right, are you ready for the sassy Southern saying of the evening?
I am, and I hope that you've done it before.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll give it a shot. All right. So the sassy Southern saying of the evening is, give him 2 nickels for a dime and he'll think he's rich.
He's dumb. He's a dumbass.
Yeah,
that's all it means.
He's a fucking dumbass.
Or it could be like you, Leah, where your brother convinced you that nickels are worth more than dimes because they're bigger, and therefore you traded all your dimes for all his nickels.
Correct.
And it came out much worse.
Correct. Same general philosophy, just I was a child, and this is generally pertaining to, not children, but who cares? It just means, man, he is a little bit slow on the uptake when it comes to stuff like that. Next time you want to shade someone, just a little mildly in public, just give him 2 nickels for a dime and he'll think he's rich.
Yeah, that's cute. Mm-hmm. That's very cute.
I like it. Okay.
I can't believe he didn't try to convince you about pennies, though, because pennies are bigger than dimes. He would have come out way better.
They are, but I knew that a penny was 1. But I think I was a little less clear with the numbers on the rest of the coins.
Yeah.
And since they were silver and not copper, it's one of those things that I don't think he could have pulled off the penny, because I knew a penny was 1. But, mm-hmm. he got me on the bigger coin thing. So.
I just love that he completely heisted you.
Oh yeah,
and you're still so upset about it.
I'm still mad about it, and he still laughs his ass off if anyone brings it up.
This is like 26 years ago.
Yeah.
And he got you though.
Yeah, I still hate nickels for that specific reason. Also, they're kind of pointless and big and irritating for no good reason. Not a huge change fan in general, but
either.
Nickels specifically, I very much dislike. But anyway, nickels and pennies, just need to get rid of them. They're unuseful. No thank you. Anyway, let's go directly into our very first story of the evening. Are you ready for a little spoopiness?
Yes, spoopies.
Spoopies. Okay, we're going to go to Milledgeville, Georgia, and we're going to be talking about the ghosts of the Taint house.
Taint?
Tate. T-A-T-E, not the Taint house. There's a haint in the taint.
Because it taint the front yard and it taint the backyard. It's the Taint house. Right, Leah?
Wouldn't most houses be a taint house because it's taint in the front yard and taint in the backyard? It's kind of in the middle. So every house is a taint house.
I just love that area has so many names, because there's Grundle. When I was in high school, people in my high school specifically called it Dotus. I don't know why. Fucking weird. But yeah, it has so many names. It's really exciting that everybody has a taint that they can call their own. Okay, go ahead.
Steve, how's that Singey Taint?
Yeah. Yeah. Steve did singe his taint the other day.
Bless his heart. Anyway, we're going to be calling it the Tate House, T-A-T-E. And the Tate House is a historical house in Georgia. It's on Georgia Route 53 for anyone that cares, in Milledgeville, Georgia. And it was, the construction started in 1923. It is a very large mansion. It was completed in 1928. It was, commissioned to be built by a Colonel Sam Tate.
Colonel Sanders?
No, Colonel Samuel Tate.
I want some KFC on top of my pizza when we get done with this.
Okay, well, we can make that happen. We probably shouldn't, but we could. It was designed by Walker and Weeks, who were architects, that were pretty famous at the time. It's a neoclassical mansion. It's very interesting and shot in the dark.
Oh my God, it was so soon, Leah. I don't even have the thing ready. Here we go.
All right, so shot in the dark. The house is made of a unique stone. The question is, what is it made from?
Okay.
Is it made from A, pink marble? Is it made from B, Jamaican jasper? Or is it made from C, polished coral?
I don't know anything about any of these. I like the idea of Jamaican jasper. That just sounds fun. I'm going with Jamaican jasper.
Well, you, sir, are incorrect because the entire house looks like a fucking Barbie dream home because it is made out of Etowah marble, and that is very, very bright pink and white.
We have an Etowah County in Alabama.
Yeah, so does Georgia. And that's where the marble deposit is.
I'm not looking forward to this shot.
And the guy that built it actually ran a marble company called Taint's Georgia Marble Company. And it's,
It Taint, Alabama marble, and it Taint, South Carolina marble.
Yeah, it's Etowah marble.
It's Etowah.
And that marble is famously incredibly pink. So this entire mansion looks... When I looked up the pictures of it, it reminded me of like the stage design for Legally Blonde the musical, like the front of it. It's a big pink fucking mansion. It looks like it should be like a sorority of some sort. It is a very pink home.
Like The House Bunny? You remember that movie?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
That is an interesting movie.
I love that movie. Anna Faris like you've never seen her before.
Indeed. But it is incredibly pink, and I like it a lot. I like an interestingly colored home. But yeah.
Oh, do you?
So it's located at 201 North Jefferson Street. Like I said, it was built in 1828, and it was a big fucking mansion. And really, the mansion isn't the interesting part. The interesting part is the man who built it was a fucking dick.
Holy shit.
His name was Colonel Sam Walker. He was the mayor of Milledgeville there at some point in time. He purchased the house, and he lived there with his wife, Molly. And Molly was actually his third wife. Because he runs through wives, let's just put it that way.
Don't we all?
Apparently. She was his third wife, so he lived there with Molly, and then their niece Alice Dillard was living with him as well as his second son Joe, who was by his first wife, and Joe comes back to haunt the building later, so we'll talk about that as we get to it. But yeah, so all of them are living in this house together, and so yeah. Sam has been called the meanest man in Milledgeville. That's like the title that people will title this kind of ghost story stuff, because he was an absolute fuckface. He was verbally and physically abusive to all four of the wives that he had. The speculation is that he was a contributing factor to most of their deaths, because he was that abusive. He had, several kids and was abusive to all of them as well. He was just a right cunt. That's man, what an asshole.
God. And
he sort of was the contributing factor as to why this place is haunted in the first place. So Joe, his son, second son from his first wife, was still living in the home because he was attending Mercer University, and that's in Macon, Georgia. In 1873 was the year that this all happened in. So he was attending Mercer, but there was an outbreak of meningitis there that year, and so all of the students were temporarily sent home, and the school was temporarily closed so they could, stop the spread of meningitis, because meningitis can kill you pretty quick.
Yeah.
So they, that's one of the shots that you have to actually go to any of the universities in the United States now. You've got to get a meniscus vaccination because...
government overreach.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because it can spread in dormitories incredibly quickly.
Isn't meningitis a type of fungus?
I don't think so.
Fungal properties or something like that?
I don't think so. I think it's... I think it's a bacterial infection, but anyway, it gets into your spinal cord and it causes inflammation on your brain, and it can cause you to stroke out and die. But it's apparently really, really, really bad. I've thankfully never experienced it, but it's supposed to be like all of the pressure in your head, and it just feels like your head is going to pop, and
there was a girl that went to my school, I believe this was at the end of middle school into high school, who had some kind of infection. She was out for like half the year, and it was that kind of thing. It was causing inflammation and stuff like that, and they, from what I understand, never actually found out what was wrong with her. But it just all of a sudden went away. Like, she was in the hospital for like half a year, and I think her dad is a doctor, a gynecologist actually, so he doesn't go into this exact stuff, but he like tells himself that it was meningitis because he needs to have an answer for it. But from what I understand, they never actually found out what happened, but it was inflammation of the brain, and I think it was in her lungs too, and her spinal cord.
I know that there can be viral meningitis, and I'm pretty sure there's a bacterial meningitis, so it can be caused by a couple of different things. But meningitis is the actual presentation of it, how it causes the brain and the brainstem and the spinal cord to like swell and be weird. I don't know enough about it to say any more than that, but it's supposed to be really, really awful.
We just got word that she was all of a sudden better, and she just came back to school. We were like, what the fuck happened? And she was like, I don't know. That was pretty
Look, man. I don't know. It sounds like something that would have happened to me. Thank God it didn't. Jesus. That's like mysterious illnesses, man. Bless it. Anyway. So, So, like I said, meningitis was outbreaking at Mercer, and they were attempting to, quell the spread of the meningitis. So they had everybody go back home. We'll come back when there's less meningitis around, So Joe comes home to Milledgeville. He is at his dad's house, and he's feeling okay. But a couple of days into being quarantined at home, he starts to feel bad, real bad.
I think it's the meningitis.
He's feeling super sick. He's feeling lethargic. He has an awful headache. And he goes to his dad and he's like, Dad, I'm like fucking sick. And his dad, Sam Walker, the meanest man in Milledgeville, didn't give a fuck at all. And he was like, boy, you ain't sick. I am not calling a doctor for you, regardless of the fact that I'm like one of the wealthiest people in the county. No doctors for you, sir. And so he sends him off to like work with a neighbor, like on his farm or something like that, just like, fuck you for asking for a doctor. You go work and do something useful. And so he goes off and he comes back. And anyway, about 3 days into his illness, Joe's at home and he's trying to go downstairs and he faints at the top of the stairs from the fucking meningitis.
And fell down the stairs.
And he falls down the stairs and it kills him. So there was also a rumor that maybe he didn't fall. Maybe he was weak and his dad just goes,
you know what? You gonna fall.
Like, fuck you for having meningitis. And he, could potentially have pushed him. That obviously is a huge rumor, but it's a rumor that is not misplaced because he was such an abusive asshole that it could have been easily believed by the community at the time.
I believe it.
But, so like I said, the rumor mill is just spitting out stuff about this guy. But within that same week, Molly, his third wife, and Alice, the niece, also died of meningitis. So, he at least definitely had meningitis because he spread it to the other two.
Jesus.
But whether he died from just fainting and falling down the stairs, or if he was pushed, or if he had like died of meningitis and then fell, I don't know. Not a lot of autopsy situations happening at the time, but still, not great. And apparently that's the ghost that still haunts this place. So people that are there at the home say that they can hear sort of late at night thuds on the stairs, kind of like a body is falling down the stairs. It's just sort of, it's not one of those hauntings that is intelligent. It's one of those like memory replay kind of hauntings where occasionally you'll just hear something large falling down the stairs. Even though there's nothing there, you can just hear it. Some people say that you can hear, someone pacing, in the hallways at night. And some people say that they also, see the spirit of Sam Walker, who's like feeling guilty for the way he like abused everybody in his life. Probably not, but to me, it feels like guys like that never really end up feeling guilty whatsoever. But it's a possibility, I suppose. But yeah, a lot of the sightings and the ghostly reports were from a woman that owned the house, and she just. Her name was Catherine Scott, and she owned the house for a long time. And she's like has written a lot about how certain rooms in the house just have this kind of uncomfortable aura in it, especially the rooms where Molly and Alice died in from meningitis. They say it's just kind of got a heavy.
Sounds like there's just feeling. Meningitis in the walls.
I don't think that's how that works, but okay.
I mean.
Meningitis in the walls. Yeah, no, it's that was supposed to be a ghostly voice, but it didn't work out.
Came across
well.
as meningitis speaking. Leah.
I'm meningitis and I'm in the walls.
Hello, I'm the ghost of Christmas meningitis.
We're meningitis and meningitis.
I'm here to make you very upset this holiday season.
Yeah,
you don't need meningitis for that. Oh, we did watch. I'm sorry, go ahead.
We watched the Muppet Christmas Carol, and the Marley and Marley song is like my favorite. And yeah. Sorry.
Now look, I've said many times on this show that is the best telling of A Christmas Carol.
Yes,
it absolutely is. Michael Caine is amazing.
He's
in that
such
movie.
a good Scrooge.
It's amazing how good he is acting with puppets. And number two. I have to watch it by myself because Leah won't shut up during the whole fucking thing. She knows every line.
That's true.
She sings every song.
Yes.
I'm like, Leah, who actually sings this song? And she's like, Michael Caine. I'm like, let him fucking do it. Let Michael
He's not a good singer, though.
No, he's not. But okay. I'm not getting into this, Leah. Stop.
Also, the ghost of Christmas Past looks like an uncircumcised penis.
It does. It does. It's a little anteater
No, the
thing.
Christmas Future.
Yeah.
Christmas Past is the creepy little ghost with the wispy bottom. The ghost of Christmas Future looks like a giant gray uncircumcised penis.
Yeah. All of them
very
are gray.
creepy.
All of them are gray. All the uncircumcised ones. They don't get enough sunlight.
I don't think that's how that works. But still, it's a creepy uncircumcised penis with extra long fingers, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Anyway, but yeah, that's that building. Sorry, that we were talking about before, the big pink house, the Tate mansion, is still haunted and still creepy. And, yeah, that's all.
All right. Well, what a story.
Sorry, I got really distracted by Muppets, and now, like, it's very hard for me to, get back on the spooky train when...
Zone back in.
Marley and Marley is just playing in my head.
We're Marley and Marley.
Ooh. It's great, y'all. If you haven't watched the Muppet Christmas Carol,
it's on Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus. Yeah. Watch it. It makes me happy. Anyway, so the information for that story was taken from visitmillageville.org and Wikipedia because, you got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So, that was my first story.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's rest time for the camera. I may eat some pizza in between the two things. I think I need something on my stomach.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
That whiskey's hit you?
It's a problem, Leah.
Yeah.
We're having a problem.
Well, let's get you some carbs and then we'll be back shortly.
All right. Carbs for Mitchell. We'll see y'all soon. Welcome back, everybody. I had some pizza during the break, and now I'm eating some cookies that one of Leah's brother's co-workers made Leah for making that lady some ornaments. Are we following?
Yeah, I'm following, but I was the one that made them. So
so Leah made ornaments for a lady. Lady made cookies and sent them to Leah, and I guess they're supposed to be holly.
They are holly. They've got little red hots in the for the berries, and then sugar for
They're kind of sugar cookie-ish, but she also made gingerbread cookies, and I don't know, these taste a little gingery too.
I think it's just because the smell, like how potent that ginger is, it kind of seeped into everything that was in the box, but it's really good.
These are wonderful.
I've never had gingerbread before, but that is fantastic. It smells amazing.
Yeah, y'all, Leah's 32 and hadn't had gingerbread until just now.
Whatever. It was really nice, and they're cute little gingerbread men, and
we don't have any of those with us. These are just the sugar cookies, holiday things.
Man, 10 out of 10.
Yeah. These are awesome.
They are really good. So
I'm a little bit more sober, but I also drank beer the whole time. So
I'll say maybe make some ornaments for bakers. That's all I'm saying. It's a good choice.
Is she a baker?
Well, she's not. She's an engineer, but she bakes as a hobby.
She's a cookie engineer.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we're going to call her. Anyway, fantastic. Would recommend having someone else bake your Christmas cookies for you.
They're
wonderful.
So good.
All right. Anyway, are you ready for a murder?
Yeah.
I hate to break your holiday cheer and joy with your cookies over there, but we're here to discuss a murder.
Is it cool if I eat cookies the whole time?
Yeah, you're more than welcome to.
Somebody's got to eat them.
I mean, it's an axe murder, so I don't know if that's really going to want to wash it down with cookies, but fine.
Oh, don't worry. I'll figure something out.
If you're cool with axe murders and cookies.
I can eat through anything.
Oh, well, I am very well aware. All right, we're going to go to Atlanta, Georgia for this one. It was 6 miles away from Atlanta when it happened, but Atlanta has spread so much that it's in Atlanta now. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the DeFoor family murders.
DeFoor?
DeFoor. Okay. DEFOOR. DeFoor.
Okay.
Maybe you pronounce that a different way, but it looks like DeFoor to me, and I'm going to say DeFoor. Yeah. So, Martin and Susan DeFoor, they were living in DeKalb County, Georgia. They moved there in 1853, and they died in 1879 at the same time because of the axe murder. Martin DeFoor was originally from Franklin County, Georgia, but he met and married his wife, Susan Tabor, in 1830. They had some kids together, and they end up moving to Bolton, Georgia, which was 6 miles away from Atlanta. I'm pretty sure it's been absorbed into Atlanta at this point. I'm at least a suburb of Atlanta.
We'll see.
Yeah, but they moved there and they took over a ferry boat business that was famous there at the time called Montgomery's Ferry, and they took it over and they renamed it DeFoor's Ferry because creativity. And they ran just a ferry boat company for a really long time, being chill, being peaceful. They never had any enemies. There were no feuds or disputes or anything that would make you believe that this wasn't just a normal chill couple, no problems. A lot of the times, as in the previous story, it'll be oh my God, he was a mean cuss, Yeah. But these people were just normal, everyday, didn't have a problem with anybody kind of people. And unfortunately, that didn't serve them too well.
Yeah, you gotta have problems with some people.
Yeah, so in the summer of...
Otherwise, you're an easy target.
Yeah, so it was the summer of 1879. Martin was 73 years old. His wife, Susan, was 81. So you get yourself some younger man, Susan. Congratulations.
Yeah, hot damn.
They had been living in that home and operating that ferry business for over 20 years. Just like I said, well-respected members of the community, not super wealthy, not super poor, just chill middle-class folk. But July the 25th was a Friday night. Bad shit happened because the next morning at 6 o'clock, their grandson, Martin Walker, was passing by his grandparents' home. And he likes to check in on them because they are 73 and 81, and that's the kind of age that you want to check on people occasionally, make sure they haven't fallen and can't get up, make sure that they're all still good. If you need to run errands for them, it's just something that is polite to do for people of that age. And so Martin is walking past his grandparents' house, goes to check in on them, and he realizes, they're not awake yet. And that is incredibly unusual for people that are that age, because I don't know if you have grandparents still living folks out there, but 80-year-old folks get up really fucking weirdly early in the morning. I don't know why, but they do, or at least mine do. And so he's like, man, it's 6 o'clock and these people haven't already had breakfast and are starting on the day's chores or whatever. This is weird. So he goes and he knocks on the door. And they don't come. And he starts worrying about them. Maybe they've gotten sick. Maybe they've, something. He's fearing the worst at this point. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going inside. So he goes inside to investigate. And bless his heart, I don't believe he was ready for what he found. Because what he found were the brutally murdered bodies of his grandparents.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Mm-hmm. Both bodies were found in their bed. They had been, it was an axe murder, like I said before. They had almost been decapitated by the blows from the axe. The people that investigated believed that they were asleep when it happened, and they, axed him in the bed. It was not like there was a big fight or anything like that. They, like I said, almost decapitated them, but not quite. The entire place was absolutely just drenched in blood. And they eventually end up finding the axe in the fireplace. And it was covered in ashes and blood. And like I said, it was a gruesome scene. And this murder ends up becoming like a media sensation because 2 people found, axe murdered in the bed it's a lot. A
little bit, Leah.
It's a lot. So the New York Times ends up running an article, and that draws even more, media attention, and it becomes a nationwide kind of sensational situation. So the headline from the New York Times says, an aged couple murdered, found dead in bed with their throats cut, no clue to criminals. So they, like I said, everybody in the town attests to the fact that these are fine, upstanding people. No one's mad at them. No reason at all that anyone would have axe murdered them to death in their beds. There was no outstanding beefs, no feuds, just nothing. And so everybody is just absolutely shocked. And the entire community is really freaked out because they're like, what if these axe murderers hit again? What's going on? And they were pressing the police to find someone, to question someone, to pin it on fucking someone. And they, attempted. They questioned several of the suspects, but for the most part, the whole crime just doesn't make sense. So you would think, like I said, they had a little bit of money. They were not extremely wealthy, but they had enough. They were living comfortably. And they thought, okay, maybe the people tried to rob them, because Mr. DeFore's wallet was gone. But there was also a lot more money in the house. They had $18, which was, quite a bit at the time. They had $18 of silver in just a drawer in the house that was easily accessible. They didn't touch that. They didn't rifle through any of the, cabinets or paperwork or nothing. They just grabbed the wallet. So like I said, there was a bunch of valuables. Nothing else was missing. Just the wallet and a pair of Martin DeFore's boots. And they actually found the boots not very far from the house in the woods. And shot in the dark.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Okay. So, shot in the dark, there were also the remains of a fruit next to the boots.
A fruit?
A fruit.
Okay.
The question is, what was the fruit?
All right.
Was it A, a banana? Was it B, a cantaloupe? Or was it C, a watermelon?
Oh, man, I want it to be a cantaloupe so bad. Cantaloupe.
You're incorrect.
God damn it, Leah.
It was, in fact, a watermelon. They found the boots next to the rind and seeds of a, quote, mostly eaten watermelon.
Dude just took the boots out, ate the watermelon, went, I am way too full to wear these boots. Because if y'all don't know, if you've never worn actual boots, they're kind of heavy. So he was probably like, I am too sluggish to
But
put
after
these
a
boots
watermelon?
on. Yeah. It's a big fucking watermelon, Leah.
It could have been a small watermelon. You don't know the size of the watermelon?
I don't know. But if it was a small watermelon, it might as well have been a cantaloupe. God damn it.
But it's not the same thing. Ugh.
I'm just saying.
I don't like cantaloupes. Anyway. I know that has nothing.
And I like honeydews. I like all melons.
See, watermelon's the only melon that I will eat.
I like melons.
And I only eat watermelon if you salt it.
I'm a big melon guy.
I know that's weird.
Yeah, you're one of those weirdos. Like, I do like salted watermelon sometimes, but mostly I like watermelon because it's sweet.
No.
Growing up, it was my favorite fruit, actually. I loved watermelon. I moved on, you know. I started trying other things. But there's nothing better than like a fruit salad, you know, with all the different chopped fruits in it.
They usually have blueberries in them, and I never got to eat those.
Yeah, that sucks. Like there's a great brunch restaurant that we go to all the time. It's a town over, but when we go to get our oil changed, we go to the same place because they give free oil changes free tire rotations if you bought the tires there. And we bought our tires there. So we go there, and then there's a brunch place right by it. We go there, and they have the greatest fruit cups, but Leah can't have them because there's blueberries in them. I love their fruit.
I mean, I'm sure their fruit is great, but their potatoes smothered in cheese and gravy are...
True. They have an option called loaded potatoes, which is literally potatoes, cheese, and sausage gravy and bacon.
I don't think the gravy is sausage gravy.
Oh, it isn't?
I think it's just regular sawmill gravy, and it's like chock full of bacon. Man,
it's so good, though. Like
it is a lot, but it is...
It's 2 weeks worth of salt.
Oh, yeah.
In that...
But it is a dish. Magical experience. So if anybody's ever in Decatur, Alabama, and you want a fantastic breakfast or brunch, Whisked.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to find, but holy shit, it is so good.
Yeah. We go there a lot. We went there yesterday, actually. So
it was wonderful. And I got the loaded potatoes, and they were incredible. And they make these muffins. I got an orange blossom muffin that, I know it was just cake, but oh my God, it was so good.
It was a mini cake. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Anyway, sorry for that, everybody.
Yeah.
I got the Thanksgiving Sammy. It was just Thanksgiving dinner all on a croissant. Oh, it's so good. Oh, Leah. We need to go back to Whisk today.
Yeah. I fucking love
It's
Whisk.
The morning, by the way. I don't know. I don't think we've said that yet.
No.
So, anyway.
Yeah, but Whisk is
I
incredible.
apologize for the brunch tangent there. But man.
I always love a tangential brunch.
I love their fruit cups, though.
But I was the kid, going back to watermelon, which is what we were talking about, that got us onto the brunch tangent. As a kid, my grandparents grew watermelon up on the mountain where they lived before they moved to where they live now. They grew a bunch of watermelons, and we would always go out to the garden, pick a watermelon, slice it into quarters, and we would have, a salt shaker out there because for whatever reason, that's just how they always ate it, and that's how I learned to eat it, and I just can't eat watermelon if it's not salted at this point. It's just I don't know, sense memory nostalgia kind of thing, but I do not like watermelon if it isn't just drowning in sodium.
I don't disagree with you that salted watermelon is great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't always want it.
Yeah, no, it needs to have that, or and the also, texture is weird.
I've never tried salt on honeydew or cantaloupe, and I would.
My grandfather will salt all of those melons.
Ooh, yeah, he will. My grandfather will salt those melons.
No, I mean, like, they're big melon people. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of anything other than the watermelon, but, like, he would probably trade me for a cantaloupe, like a nice cantaloupe.
He's getting into the dating scene. Let your grandmothers know he will salt those melons.
He has been happily married for a long time, and they're both still alive, so no to that.
I don't know about happily.
Anyway, so yeah, watermelon. There was a watermelon run next to the boots. Going back, and this brutal axe murder sometimes gets to me, so I have to tangent.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to tangent your emotions away,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay.
Please.
All right, so the problem with the fact that no one knows what was going on. The boots were gone. The wallet was gone. There was food taken. But what makes me incredibly uncomfortable with this particular crime is they found a lot of evidence suggesting that the killer or potentially killers had been hiding out and living in the attic
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
That's way worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, just a normal transient kind of murder. Okay, fine. Living in the attic for a little while without being detected, that gives me nightmares.
That's way worse.
I've never even looked in our attic. We don't have a ladder that goes that high.
We haven't been in our attic.
So I have no idea what the fuck's up there, and it might be a family of raccoons, or it might be a murderer. I don't know.
Speaking of, holy shit, y'all, we haven't told you this yet, but I'm not going to make light of it. Okay. The meth head neighbor we had, he was literally stabbed to death about a month ago.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
You're choosing now to say that.
Not in his house. But I was about to say, what if that's bullshit and he's just living in our attic? What if all those news reports were just to hide him somewhere and he's in our fucking attic?
But like he's got a perfectly good house. Well, he has a house over there.
No, it's not perfectly good. I've been told the inside of the house is methy.
Yeah. Well,
I haven't been in it.
But no, I don't think that was an appropriate time to say that.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, what if he's in our attic?
No, he's not. I can guarantee you that he got stabbed because a man was arrested for his first-degree murder.
But again, this is all just, he's in the witness protection program now.
Nope, he was murdered.
He's got mob ties.
Nope, definitely dead. But anyway, sorry about the way we said that, I guess.
I don't think that was rough. He might be in the attic.
He's not in the attic.
That's all I'm saying.
Like I said, it could definitely be raccoons up there. But
he was, again, I'm not making light of the situation. He was literally murdered.
Yeah, that's not a joke.
No, it wasn't here. It was away from the house and everything. It was off in town somewhere. But yeah. And the thing is, murders don't happen in Hartselle.
No, they really don't. I mean, they do, but they're very, very, very few and far between.
It's like the second one in 3 years, and before that it had been like 15 years or something like that since a murder had happened in Hartselle.
Long, but it's been a while, so
yeah,
it's very uncommon, but yeah.
Kind of fucked up.
Yeah, most definitely.
When you're methy, that's what happens.
Okay, anyway,
sorry.
Uncomfortable tangent there, but...
Sorry, he might be in the attic.
Mitchell, you've got to stop saying that or I'm never sleeping again.
Might be in the attic.
But yeah, so they go up there into the attic and they find... so there's like kind of a guest roomy kind of thing up there. It's not something that they use very often, but they have like an old bed set up there. And it looked like it had been slept in. It had, there were muddy footprints found on the windowsill, and they were bare feet, which is also ew.
Yeah. Really? That's why I needed the boots, though.
Yeah, I think so, but I bet the boots didn't fit, so he's like, oh, fuck it.
And they're heavy.
Yeah, so they found muddy footprints all over the windowsills and sort of up there, and they kind of pieced together that the killer and or killers, because they think there were two sets of footprints, but they couldn't be sure if it was like one person passing over it again or if there were two people up there. They think there were two people, but it could have just been the one. They think that the killer or killers snuck in an open window the day before, and they sort of just hid up in the attic until Friday night when
so they weren't living there.
Well, that was the speculation, but other people also think that it's possible that they had been living there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
From what I can tell, it seems like they were there only a few days, like 1 or 2 days at most. But, other people have speculated that it was a longer term thing. So who knows? But just from the way the articles read, it looks like they had only been there a day or two. But they, stayed up in the attic, hung out for a while, and then they came downstairs Friday night, and they ate and drank all of the food and all of the milk in the kitchen. And then they, instead of just like sneaking out or just, eating and leaving, they decide to axe murder the family in their beds.
Jesus Christ.
And apparently the axe that they were killed with was an axe that was on their own wood pile. So they didn't bring an axe to murder these people. They found the axe in the home, and there were muddy footprints leading out towards the wood pile to grab the axe and back in. So yeah, it's super creepy, and awful, and just ugh. But another one of the reasons that they believe that the people had been upstairs was that they found lots of human excrement in the lumber room upstairs.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
So yeah, they found.
Look, I've had rough days, but like, it's not going to be that much.
Yeah, so they had like a wood pile. Like they had like an attic room upstairs and then a separate attic room that they stored firewood in. And they had been shitting in the firewood room. Whoever was up there.
Fucking.
Yeah, just lots of poo everywhere. Just lots of poo on the wood pile.
Hashtag lots of
poo. And so, like I said, obviously everybody in the nation is just freaking out about this. They're like, what's going on? Who did this? And the suspicion focuses really heavily on the homeless people in the area. They call them traveling vagrants. Apparently they had two traveling vagrants had come up to a bunch of different houses on that street the night before, including the DeFores, and people were like, yeah, no, you can't stay in our home. Sorry. And so a lot of people believed that it was those people kind of getting revenge for them not letting them stay the night. Excuse me. The Atlanta Constitution even published a newspaper piece warning of, quote, the danger of tramps. And they made some very, very disparaging remarks about the homeless population. And I'm not going to read it because it's really rough. Yeah, let's just say that the people at the time were very, very suspicious of, the vagrants that were in the area. And so a lot of people thought at the time that that's what happened. And the public outcry for people to find who killed these people was very strong for years and years after it happened. And eventually in 1883, a dude confesses. A man named Joe Johnson says, man, I totally did this. And he claimed that two other men had helped him commit the murders, and everybody was like, oh, we finally figured it out. There's going to be a hanging. But when the police actually talked to the guy had literally no idea what the actual crime scene was like, had no actual details.
I've always
in
found
no
that
way.
Very interesting, the people who would just do it for the notoriety, say the things. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but the police were like, yeah, this is totally not the guy. There's no way he could have done it. Absolutely no way. It's not him. So they obviously never, convicted him or indicted him or anything like that. There were no charges filed whatsoever because he was clearly just some little cuckoo dude that was trying to get his name out there. Yeah, definitely was not the one that did it. Apparently some suspicion was on the grandson that found them in the first place initially, because obviously he was the one that found them. And he was actually the person that inherited a lot of their property after they died. And he actually sort of tore down their old home and used the wood from it to reconstruct his new home. But I mean, it was an old kind of shitty house, and he had to do something with it. So a lot of people on Reddit were like, man, he profited so much off of the death of his grandparents, and he immediately tore their house down to hide evidence. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he just needed the lumber, and lumber's expensive. And what else are you going to do with a shitty house?
And also, if your family had any kind of stability whatsoever, you always profit off the death of your grandparents.
Yeah.
Unless they don't leave you anything because you're an asshole.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Everybody does that.
Yeah. If there's any kind of I mean, and I wouldn't even say generational wealth, because that's not the case for a lot of people. It's just they leave behind physical items. Mm-hmm. Everybody does. You might be profiting 112 Hummel figurines, but that is still technically profiting.
Yeah, we are throwing away every single fucking nutcracker your grandmother gives us. There are over 90 of them.
Yeah, I think at last count they were. I think she was almost at 100 now.
Yeah, and you know what? And she thinks, like we talked about with the cake last week and all that stuff. She thinks that you like them.
No,
you don't like them, so she's going to give them to you.
Yes.
and we are taking them to the pawn shop or the antique shop.
Very few of those nutcrackers are worth anything. There are a couple that actually are, but the rest of them are just cheap shit.
That's what I'm saying. They're getting thrown away.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want them. And she'll never listen to this. Sorry, Yella, but we don't want your fucking nutcrackers.
No, it's like, it's kind of like she has a gorgeous china cabinet and a gorgeous china collection that she, like they used to have, in washing powder and stuff like that, they would have free things that you could make a collection of. And the china was one of those things. So all of her china was free promotional items from the washing powder that she used when she was like a single mom.
Interesting.
That's what all of that china is. And it is actually
might be worth something.
Yeah,
that might be collector
is.
Shit.
It legitimately is. Yeah. It is.
I'll take
it's
that.
Very nice china. But I don't like china or want china. Like
but we can sell it though.
When we were getting married, and my grandmother was like, "Aren't you going to register for some china?" It's like, "Fuck no, I'm not." Like my parents registered for china. They've got they had like a 4-piece china set. And it's never been used.
No, never.
Who's paying $50 for a plate that is never going to see food?
My grandparents had a china set, and we lived with them, and I never saw it used.
Yeah,
ever.
It's you don't use china. Who's having a fucking formal dinner party in 2022?
Yeah,
21. What year is this? Time means nothing. Anyway,
it's almost 22, so you're fine.
Like, it's just why would anyone, unless you are like a very fancy person that has very fancy dinner parties on the reg, no use. And antique shops are filled with cheap ass china because no one wants it anymore. Unless you're a specific collector of a specific thing, people just don't do that anymore.
No, I don't want china.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to sit in our house taking up space, and we already have enough of that.
But that's what I'm saying. She's just like, someday all of this is going to be yours. And I'm like, oh.
Someday somebody's going to pay for it.
Maybe we give it to a different family member. I don't know.
Not one person in our house is going to have it.
Yeah, like, I want the pie safe. I want my great-grandmother's, like, bread bowl. But other than that, that's about it. Like, I don't need stuff. But yeah, so like you were saying, the grandchildren are going to profit off of a death in some way. It doesn't mean that like it was enough for him to brutally murder his beloved grandparents in their sleep. Like that seems like a lot to me. But anyway, so seems like a lot. But yeah, that whole case is still a cold case. No one was ever tried for it. No one was ever convicted. No one was ever charged. They just don't know who did it. The general suspicion is that, vagrants showed up, hung out, got murdery for a minute and left, But I mean, what bothers me is nowadays they could just, genetically test the poop that they left behind and they could pin it to someone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But because, there is no DNA testing at the time, they could leave poop everywhere and it not be a problem. I mean, it was a problem, but, like for them, it wouldn't have been a problem because there was no forensic, I don't know. Stuff like that bothers me because if it happened now, you could definitely pin it on someone. But anyway. Yeah, so that's the unsolved murders of the DeFore family. And all of that information was taken from an article by the Huffington Post and another article on Atlanta's UpperWestSide.com. And that website is about just old historical details from Atlanta, just lots of different interesting things. So if you're interested in the history of old Atlanta, that's a good website.
Yeah, Atlanta's very interesting.
Yeah.
To look into, and it's also making history right now with still being segregationist. So what do you want? What are you going to do? Not Atlanta itself, but Georgia. Atlanta's part of it, but
And they have an excellent aquarium and an excellent museum about puppets.
Okay, I didn't know about the puppet museum part.
Yeah, the Puppetry Arts Museum in Atlanta is absolutely incredible. They have a bunch of original Jim Henson puppets because, you know, they're on permanent loan from the Henson Company. They built a special wing for them. And they have international puppet artists come through and do shows, and it's absolutely incredible. 10 out of 10. If you're in Atlanta, go see it. Maybe that's just me because I like puppets, but it's a big deal.
But, you know, other people might be into it too, but yes, it is just you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's all I had. It was awesome. Okay. Not awesome that the people were murdered, you know.
Yeah. Also, everybody check your attics tonight. See if there's some fresh feces.
Legitimately, I'm not sure that I ever want to look in our attic because I'm worried about what we'll find.
Yeah, we've been in this house almost 3 years now, and we have never looked in our attic.
Yeah, because we don't have a ladder. Because we've got one of those. It doesn't have one of the pull down ladders like a lot of attics have. Ours is just like a square hole in the ceiling,
like a ceiling panel type thing.
Yeah, and we don't have a ladder. Now, I will say I was there when our home inspector went into the attic, and he brought his own ladder, and he got up there and he said, yeah, it looks fine up here. And I didn't ask if they had left anything up there, like, because the people that lived here before left a lot of shit in the shed. They left so I'm worried that there's like something weird up there that we just don't know about.
Yeah, luckily, again, it's been almost 3 years. Nothing has smelled funky.
Yeah, nothing. So. There's like no dead bodies because we would have smelled that. But yeah, it's we should probably get a bigger ladder. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, there are people who have ladders that we could borrow and just go up in there to look real quick.
I guess, but that seems like a lot of hassle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it just to go look in there, but like we need to put some shit in the attic. Like Leah just got the laser a few months ago. She wanted, you have to keep the box for it because if anything happens, you have to ship it back to the company in that original box exactly as it was packaged. So she said, let's put it in the attic. Lo and behold, the box doesn't fit in the ceiling panel to go in the attic.
No,
so we can't even do that. So the box is just sitting in a room. Yeah. So we have other shit that could fit up there that we need to just get out of the house.
Yeah, Christmas tree box and all of that shit. But, you know, what are you going to do? Ladders, man. Anyway, how about we do a toast and put this show out of its misery?
Ladders, man. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, everybody hoist your waters high into the sky. All right.
I've got a beer.
Sam Walker should have been a little kinder to his heirs. He found his 6 son's body at the bottom of the stairs. Finding a murdered body has got to be traumatic, but so is finding human excreta in the axe murder attic. A drink.
Excreta?
Excreta. It means poo and pee.
I knew what it meant, but I've never heard the word excreta before.
Yes, excreta.
Anyway, that was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed today's episode.
Oh, I am so glad.
It was exciting.
Ye old axe murders are kind of a fun thing, huh?
You are a big axe murder fanatic.
Not an axe murder fanatic, just interested as to how many fucking axe murders there were at the time in the United States. People were getting axe murdered left and right, and I'm just like, man, that's a lot of axe murders, and why does nobody axe murder anymore?
We need axe murder control. Axe control. Not axe murder control. God damn it, Leah. I'm sorry. I was trying to make a gun control joke.
I get it. It wasn't a good joke, though.
No, it was bad from the beginning. But then I said murder on top of that. That doesn't help.
No.
All
right,
it was pretty not well crafted, I'll say. I'll admit. I'm a little drunk, Leah.
Yes, you are. And maybe it's time for you to start wrapping this up because you're making less sense as we go.
We got a big problem, y'all. But I'll address that on my own.
Okay.
Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on all of your social media platforms. Send us an email, southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/southernspiritspodcast. Get yourself some merch. Get yourself some merch. The link is in the show notes.
Yes.
So visit the store if you feel like it. Send us a postcard, anything else, to P.O. Box 1743, Hartselle, Alabama 35640. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
You tell me the truth.
I really wasn't paying attention, so I can't tell you the truth.
There we go. All right. Well, we will see y'all next time.
Bye, y'all.